Alright, tonight we got a third episode that's long awaited for most people. Tonight's broadcast have been brought to you by Booty, because most of us are not getting it in our relationships. That's why we stay in a bad mood. First off, everybody, happy holidays. Hope everybody had a good Christmas. Hope everybody was in the spirit. Mine was pretty, forget it, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty mediocre. I mean, you got one half it was good, and the other half, the half that you want to be good, doesn't happen. But that's the norm these days for me, I guess. Not everybody else, but for me, yeah. Tonight's subject is pretty much like how episode 2 was. It's pretty much gonna be like a mumbo jumbo clusterfuck of moments that, you know, it's been going on the past couple of days. First off, I just got home about 15-20 minutes ago, hanging out with another close friend of mine, Steve Fonseca, or Spikeo as I like to call him, which will be a funny story about that in a few moments. You know, we went out and we had a few drinks, and that was pretty much about it. We had a good long discussion about, you know, our lives and relationships and stuff like that, and why is it guys like us are, you know, being treated the way we are, and yet we do so much just to keep, you know, the people that are around us happy. And the more I think about it, I think it's pretty much based on our past of, you know, based on what we've done to people, and it's coming back to haunt us. So that's what I think it might be. Maybe I could be wrong, but it's a funny story on how he got the nickname Spikeo. When we were in college, we were part of this group called Perlo, which was pretty much all, you know, ethics represented. And we used to go on some of these excursions, these small internships, you know, and this one we went to was in Washington, D.C. And I remember one night we got really wasted. I mean, our thing was, before we went on the trip, we would go and buy a bunch of alcohol before traveling because it was cheaper. That way we ain't had to go to the nightclubs and stuff and buy drinks. But there was one night, Steve had a little bit too much than usual, and I've seen him throw down on drinks big time. But it was so funny how, you know, how he was after a few drinks, and his roommate, them two were like arguing. And the guy was so drunk also, he couldn't say his name right. I mean, the whole time he was like, something wrong with Spikeo, man. Spikeo, dog. Spikeo. And Steve was like, Spikeo. He's like, I've heard of Spike Lee, but Spikeo? And, you know, the guy still kept on going. I mean, he didn't have much common sense as it was, but with that alcohol, it was just like your brain cells are popped before they even got started to hit their potential of development. I mean, the guy was like, the man is drinking too much Tequila, man. And the guy said, Tequila? He was like, tequila, motherfucker, tequila, get it right. So because of that, it kind of stuck with him, the whole Spikeo name. And it was at the point where, as a side project a few years ago, I used to do episodes based on how he acted when he had drinks, and I pretty much modified them to where they were funny, because I thought they were hilarious how he acted. I mean, there were moments where, I mean, we're in the hallway of the hotel, and he's all like, Mike, man. I'm like, what? And he's like, Mike. And I'm like, what? And he yells in my ear, Mike. And I said, what, dog? He's like, yo, I'm fucked up, man. I'm feeling it. And me, I know he would tell me, Mike, you have no room to talk. Because he pointed it out earlier that when drinking and I didn't have my way, you know, I was pretty much an asshole. Because on that same trip, I remember going down to the lobby to get something to eat. Because mind you, we weren't just at any hotel. We were at the Gaylord National Resort. Google that if you don't believe me. And there was a restaurant downstairs, and I wanted, something to eat. And I made it there before the kitchen was closed, and I'm waiting on this guy. This guy is busy trying to, flirt with these two females who you can physically see they weren't interested in the guy. So then, I'm still waiting. I'm at the table for like 5 or 6 minutes, and all of a sudden, when he got turned down, he tells me, "Oh, I'm sorry, bruh. The kitchen is closed." And I'm like, what? I was ready to fight. I was really mad. I was cussing the guy out. I was like, "You pussy motherfucker, I'ma hurt you. I'ma beat you up." And, the guys from Perlo, they saw what was going on because they actually heard me from the restaurant. And they were pulling me out because I was angry and upset and most of all, hungry. You don't let a giant go hungry and you tell him no, especially if he's been waiting. That's just bad business etiquette. If I owned a restaurant, which I've had a background in being co-partner of one, nobody went hungry and nobody had to wait long enough. We didn't have nobody sitting around waiting, with a lost look on their face. So then I'd end up getting room service, and just for some chicken wings and I think it was like a 2-liter soda was like $20. And there was an Indian guy who was at the door who delivered it. And I guess after he gave me the food, he expected me to tip him. I pretty much looked at him like, what are you standing there for? And he was like, "I came for my tip, sir." And I closed the door in his face. So, Indian guy, if you're out there listening, sorry. But you should be lucky I even, didn't sock you one good time. So that was a pretty interesting, adventure with my buddy Steve. And that's pretty much one of the top ones that stick out the most because of how he was and how I was. And he was right when he said that when I have a few drinks and I don't get my way, because he also mentioned another story about when we went to Taco Bell, because he swears out he will never ever go to Taco Bell with me unless I'm sober. Because there was one time we went there and at the time they were selling this thing called tortadas, which was like it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like I want to say it was like a modified quesadilla. I don't know. But see, me, I'm picky. I don't like cheese. So, I told the lady, no cheese. So we're halfway, leaving Taco Bell to go to our hangout spot. And I look at my stuff and I see that thing is drowned in cheese. And so Steve's laughing his butt off because he knew I was going to drive back to Taco Bell in a foul mood. So when I got there, what didn't help was the lady at, the drive-in. She didn't help the situation out because when I drove to the window, I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am." And she's practically ignoring me. And I'm like, "Excuse me." And she's busy talking. So I end up saying out loud, "Get your fat ass over here." And it got her attention. She answered. Because I pretty much said, "This bitch put cheese on my tortada, man." And Steve, the whole time, he swears out he didn't, but he was laughing his butt off by how I was acting. So they ended up making me a new tortada. He ended up eating the other one, and I was pretty much very dissatisfied, to say the least. But that's just how I am. Anywho, I decided to do a recent section of a Q&A, and I guess he wanted to be hilarious about it because that's just simply how Craig Classic is. For those who you don't know, Craig Classic, independent pro wrestler, and also independent Japanese pro wrestler who is currently in Japan. And hopefully when he comes back to the States, we can do a podcast episode together, which, knowing how we connect in terms of conversations, we probably make 3 episodes alone for an hour apiece. We would pretty much make the Colt Cabana and CM Punk videos seem like, I don't know, a remake of Coming to America compared to the brilliance that we can pull off. Not saying they didn't have good stuff. It was great. I mean, I've read both parts, but I think me and him together, we can pull off something better. Just because of what to expect from both of us. Because believe it or not, we have a lot in common. But anywho, he pretty much had a 2-part question that was sent to me on Facebook before I actually started recording. And sadly, he's actually serious when asking this question. And the question is, if you could wrestle in a bra and panties match with any diva, which diva would it be? And what would you like to happen? Okay, first off, Craig, you didn't mention specifically if I had to wear bra and panties, because I didn't plan on it. And any diva that I would choose, it would probably be a tie between Gail Kim from Impact Wrestling and also Victoria, formerly of WWE and formerly the name Tara on Impact Wrestling as well. And to answer the question, what would happen? Well, in the words of Brian Pillman, God rest his soul, a lot of censors would be happy that night. And then some. So yeah, that would answer your question to that, you closet pervert. But then again, I have no room to talk. But that pretty much wraps up episode 3. It's a little bit shorter compared to the second one, but a little bit longer compared to the first one. Episode 4 will be coming up in a couple of days. And also within the next few podcasts, I will be doing a special with my friend Steve when he's more up to it. I originally planned on having him on episode 4, but with his schedule and my schedule, that wasn't the case. So, signing off. Hope everybody has a good night. Hope everybody enjoys this podcast, because it's already 1:15 in the morning and I desperately need some sleep. So, signing off until episode 4. Please keep supporting it. Spread the word. It's on YouTube. It's posted on my Facebook page, my Twitter page. Retweet it. Share it. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family. Send it to anyone that knows me. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. It only takes a few seconds for you to press that share button and retweet it. It's the easiest 5 to 10 seconds of your life. Just do it.
耳すましな What time is it now 悪魔の笑い声が聞こえる感染者止まらないサウンド